Welcome everyone to episode number 5 of Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com or MySpace or YouTube, wherever you're watching the shows. We got a lot of hits on the last show. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who's watching the show. And let's not waste any time, let's just get right into your questions. This one comes from Keith in Tampa, Florida. Jeff, do you think WWE should have a television championship? Not one for each brand, just have one TV champion. Have a 16-man tournament, 5 from each brand, and a write-in vote. No. I think, I mentioned this on a previous show, I believe, that WWE has more than enough titles. If they were going to bring back any championship, they should bring the hardcore title back to ECW. I don't think they're going to bring in a television championship. I think that's kind of silly. Each brand has their own world champion, their own tag team champion, their own secondary champion, and their exclusive brand championship, the women's championship and the cruiserweight championship. I don't think that adding the championship to any brand will be beneficial to anybody. Like I said, if they're going to bring back any championship, they should bring the hardcore championship back and make it a part of ECW. I don't think that a TV championship would be, like I said, very beneficial at all. I think a TV championship will just add, to the confusion on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. Having one guy appear in all 3 brands would be really silly. Next one comes from Brenna. Who do you think will be the new generation of superstars, since most of the superstar main eventers are now getting close to retirement, such as Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, etc.? Mr. Kennedy is going to be a main eventer for the next few years, for sure. Bobby Lashley, he's already been a main eventer, he's going to continue to be so. Randy Orton, Batista's going to still be a main eventer. MVP. Oh, somebody brought up MVP. They brought up the fact that I made fun of his little shuffle at the beginning of last show, or during a portion of last show, and they think I don't like him. I love MVP. He's a great character. He's a great U.S. champion. I have no problem with MVP whatsoever, so don't think I don't like MVP, because I do. I really like him a lot. MVP is going to be a main eventer for the next few years, I hope. Let's take a look up here. Who's up here? Umaga's still going to be a factor for a while. Booker's looking toward retirement, so maybe not so much him. London and Kendrick are going to be tag team main eventers. Cade and Murdoch are going to be main event tag teamers for a while. There's still quite a bit of names on the roster. You got the new Hart Foundation coming up out of OVW. Teddy Hart and Harry Smith along with Natty Neidhart. They're going to be a great team when they come up, if not singles wrestlers. You've got... if they bring him back up, Jay Bradley's going to be a great main eventer from OVW if they bring him up. Paul Burchill has the potential to be a great main eventer too if they push him the right direction. So there's a lot of guys that they still haven't pushed yet that are still right there on the cusp. And my dogs are barking. Quiet! Taping the show here, damn it. Alright, this one is from Kevin Cook. If TNA was to fire Vince Russo, do you think it would help or hurt TNA? Vince Russo is a different personality in this business by far, but I don't think firing him will benefit TNA whatsoever. I think that the writing is starting to, make a turn in TNA with him being there, and I think that he is a big part of TNA's resurgence as far as, making a threat against WWE. I don't think firing him will be beneficial to anybody. I think that Vince Russo is a big factor in TNA. I think Vince Russo is a great writer. I think Vince Russo is a good personality to have around. Yes, he has a bad reputation for WCW. Yes, he has a bad reputation for the way he originally booked TNA. But lately, he's done a really good job. And I think that he will continue to do a good job and continue to have a positive impact on TNA. So I think firing him will be nothing short of bad news. Alright, this is one from Josh Terrace. Not Josh Tariff. Josh Terrace. T-A-R-I-S. Would TNA bringing in Goldberg or Hulk Hogan help them against WWE? That's a good question. I think that anybody coming into TNA would be a help. I think that Goldberg would be a definite ratings booster. People still are interested in Goldberg. He had a hit show on Spike. What is it, Bull Run or whatever it was called. That was a big hit, and Spike TV likes Goldberg. Hogan coming in is always a ratings booster, no matter where he is, TNA, WWE, wherever he is. Hulk Hogan is a guaranteed ratings booster for at least a few weeks. So either one of those two coming in would definitely help TNA for sure. This one is from TWF Entertainment. First off, your show rocks. Well, thank you. Second, I was wondering what your opinion is on ECW's Kevin Thorn. I think he could be a major player, but he doesn't have any titles to go after. Yeah, Kevin Thorn has proven himself more than he ever did. When he was Mordecai, it was a joke. He was, it didn't last too long, and rightfully so. I think Mordecai was a bad character to bring in. They were going to have a feud with The Undertaker, which I think was going to be, the blow-off feud for him. He was going to go away anyway, and he kind of went away before that even happened. But he's definitely found his niche as Kevin Thorn. Kevin Thorn is a great character. Kevin Furtick, the man behind the character, is a great wrestler. He's proven that. He's had some great matches with Tommy Dreamer. He had a couple of good matches with Stevie Richards the last couple of weeks. Stevie Richards getting the upset victories. But I think that Kevin Thorn has, only upwards to go. I think he could be a contender for the ECW Championship at some point. I think that once the CM Punk John Morrison feud resolves itself, I think he could be a top contender for the World Championship. Alright, this one is from Zach. Do you believe the WWE somewhat constricts their wrestlers from performing to their fullest potential versus TNA, Ring of Honor, so on and so forth? I think they feel they have to. I think that WWE has toned down the aerial offense to a point. You see guys like Paul London, who was flying all over the place in Ring of Honor. You see guys like Jeff Hardy, who would fly all around in TNA, and you see guys like Jeff Hardy does a lot of flying still in WWE, but not as much as he used to back in the old WWF Attitude days. So I think that WWE does limit their superstars to a point, but I think that they're still getting the ratings. They're still getting, the fans are following them. They're still getting the, the attention that they want. So, I don't think limiting the superstars is really hurting them. I just think it's trying to keep their superstars safe. This is from Drew B. Why does WWE insist on keeping John Cena WWE champion for so long? It seems like they want him to be the next Bruno Sammartino and have him hold the title for 8 years. I hope Randy Orton beats him at SummerSlam, and they should set up another Triple H Randy Orton feud. You know what? I tend to agree with you on the Randy Orton Triple H thing, but the reason they're keeping John Cena as WWE champion, I've mentioned this on the show more than once, is because John Cena is the most marketable guy they have. John Cena is their guy. John Cena is their current Stone Cold, their current Hulk Hogan, their current Rock, their current, Triple H. He is the guy that, Vince is putting all the money behind. He's a movie star. He's a great athlete. He is a great talker. He sells merchandise. You go to a WWE show. I went to the house show back in Anaheim a couple weeks ago. No more than half, no less than half, if not 3/4 of the audience had John Cena merchandise on. They were wearing his spinner belt. They were wearing the foam belt. They were wearing T-shirts, hats, the little pendants. John Cena's over. He's a great athlete, and he's incredible. And he's going to be their superstar for a long time to come, if not, for a long, long time. But I think that Randy Orton's time has come, and I think that Randy Orton's going to have a brief run as WWE champion and set up a Triple H feud going into Unforgiven and perhaps even No Mercy. So I think that John Cena is going to lose the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Maybe we'll do official predictions for SummerSlam on the next show. But for right now, I think that John Cena's time has finally come. He's going to be a contender for a while and not a champion. This is from Rebleached. Very interesting name. It seems as of late the storylines in WWE have been lacking. Do you think that this is because of Steph being part of creative or lack of talent being able to pull them off? I don't think it's really either. Stephanie has been part of creative for a long time. I think that Stephanie being a part of it's not really, the ultimate factor. I think it's a number of things. I think that, they're not pushing talent properly. It's not lack of talent being able to pull them off. It's just the talent's not being pushed properly. I think that, there are certain talent that should be pushed, or certain talent that shouldn't be pushed. I think that's a big factor as well. I think that the WWE creative team, besides Stephanie, maybe needs to step up to the plate a little bit more. I think they, need to come up with better storylines. It's not just Stephanie. Stephanie is not the end-all, be-all. She is the head writer of creative. She's the executive vice president in charge of creative. But, it's not ultimately just her. Vince is also a very big factor. Vince has final say. So, if anything, it's the responsibility of Vince McMahon to make sure the creative storylines are going through. I think what they're doing now with the illegitimate child is interesting. It's different. I think that they're pushing toward the John Cena Randy Orton match is good. I think pushing toward Umaga being a babyface is pretty good. There's a question down here later about pushing Umaga. I think Umaga being a babyface will be a very interesting turn for him. I think they're starting to step in the right direction again. This is from Fong Hang, I guess. What do you think of Chuck Palumbo on Smackdown? Do you think he's going to be a powerhouse there? Oh, also, I love your show. You do an awesome job. Well, thank you very much. I get a lot of compliments today. I like this. This is cool. My shirt's unbuttoned. I just realized that. Chuck Palumbo on Smackdown, I don't know about that gimmick, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that, I think Chuck Palumbo could have found something that, is maybe better, wrestling-wise. I don't know how long this gimmick is going to last. I mean, he's basically just squashing jobbers right now. That can only last so long. I think that if they want to keep Palumbo going, they need to push him away and just kind of have him be a wrestler, not be a biker. The Undertaker worked as a biker because that's who he was. And yes, Chuck Palumbo really is a biker, and yes, that's who he really is. But honestly, I think that Chuck Palumbo's standing power has proven that he needs to just stand on his own and do his own thing. So hopefully this biker thing will work for him, but if it doesn't, you may see the last of Chuck Palumbo before too long. This one comes from Hazard F5. When and if TNA eventually gets 2 hours, who are the top 3 TNA stars you'd like to see more of on Impact and why? Christopher Daniels. I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see more of Triple X in general, as a matter of fact, so we'll count that as one. I'd like to see AJ get more main event matches. AJ has been kind of relegated to being Tomko's bitch, and it sucks. And Christian's bitch, and it really sucks. I think AJ deserves to be out on his own again. And I would love to see more of Jeff Jarrett come back. I'd like to see Jeff Jarrett come back and be a player like he has been. I'd also like to see guys like Rhino, the James Gang, Team 3D. I'd like to see Kevin Nash mix it up a little bit more if he comes back out of retirement, if he comes back into wrestling full time. I'd like to see, guys they haven't brought into TNA yet. I'd like to see guys from Ring of Honor come over to TNA. I'd like to see Austin Aries, get another shot. I'd like to see Roderick Strong get another shot. Any of those guys. I'd love to see in TNA, if he doesn't win the NWA Championship, which I think he will, is American Dragon. Bryan Danielson. He'd be a great addition to TNA if he doesn't win the NWA Championship. This is from Chuck, the Video Game Master Riedel. Let me know how to pronounce that on the next show, Chris. Do you think any UFC stars will come to WWE like Shamrock and Dan Severn did back in the day? Well, they recently put out a Tank Abbott Classic Superstars figure, I noticed, in one of the ads in the magazines. So maybe Tank Abbott will make a big comeback to wrestling, and he'll be one of the superstars. Why do they have a Tank Abbott WWE figure? That's all I want to know. He was a guy in WCW, and he wasn't all that good. Although Vince Russo was talking about making him the next world champion. Oh, God, what a horrible day that would have been. That's one of Russo's ideas where you kind of go, what? Tank Abbott could be a possibility coming back. Tito Ortiz has been, in TNA a few times. He could be in WWE. I'd love to see a guy like Chuck Liddell come to WWE and kick ass. He's a great Ultimate Fighter. But I don't see too many guys crossing over to WWE only because of TNA's association with Spike and the UFC's association with Spike. If anything, we're going to see Ultimate Fighters in TNA, not WWE. It's from Matthew18717. Hey Jeff, I absolutely love your show and think you should be employed with the WWE and have your own spot on their website. Well, thank you. WWE.com, you can email them and petition for me to show up. Question, with the talent that the WWE has, should they combine the shows like the good old days and drop some of the sucky undercard wrestlers, or should we all pray WWE comes up with the second coming of The Rock? I'll tell you right now, they're not going to have another Rock. The Rock was The Rock. The Rock was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. He was the guy for a while, and they're not going to come up with another Rock. The closest guy I can think of that's going to be the next Rock is Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy's supposed to be a heel, and he's getting over really well as a babyface. So if anybody's going to come close to being The Rock, it's going to be either Mr. Kennedy or Randy Orton. Randy Orton's already had his push as another third-generation star, so maybe not so much. But I think that WWE should not combine the shows. They've stuck to this brand extension for 5 years now. I don't see a point in recombining the rosters. I think that everybody was hoping for that this last Monday on Raw with Vince's big announcement and then lashing out, but it ended up being lashing out against the government, which I thought was very cool. I think that I think the WWE is, like I said, taking a step in the right direction and kind of moving toward where they want to go. So I think, if anything, WWE needs to keep on the path they're on, and they'll be just fine. What do you think of the way they're pushing Umaga lately? I mentioned this earlier. I think pushing Umaga toward being the babyface is a great idea. It's a fresh start for the Intercontinental Champion. I think that having him be a babyface will be good for him. I think that they probably push him into a feud with Carlito going into SummerSlam, which would be nothing short but good for him. Carlito's a great worker. Umaga is a great athlete. Umaga, yes, he seems one-dimensional, but Umaga can fly. He can do any number of things. He's not just one-dimensional. He's not just, the running charge and the Samoan spike. He proved that when he was a 3-minute warning. He can fly. He can do any number of things. He's a great athlete. Back when he was Jamal, a 3-minute warning, back when he was, I believe he's ECMO of the Island Boys. He's a great superstar, and I think him as a babyface will be a fresh start for him. I think it'll be very good for Umaga, and hopefully it'll lead to bigger and better things for him. All right, this one comes from Troy, but it actually came from a lot of different people. How do you feel about the possible Sid Vicious comeback in WWE? I like Sid. I do. He gets a really bad reputation as far as when he was a part of the Horsemen, when he had the incident with Arn Anderson. But I like Sid. I think he's a little bit past his prime to be in WWE. I think he returned to Memphis Wrestling not too long ago, but I don't think he's going to make an impact as far as WWE or TNA. I think that he may come back and may have like 1 or 2 matches, but he won't be a full-time roster member anymore. I just don't see that in Sid's future. I really don't. I want to thank you all very much for watching this short edition. I know it was a short one, but I got through about 14 questions here, so thank you very much to everybody that sent in questions. I know I didn't get to everybody's, but I will get to you eventually. I promise. Please don't fault me. It's just that I've got 80 questions or something in my inbox on MySpace. These are just some of the Yahoo questions I got, so keep them coming. I'll get to them as soon as I can, and we will see you for episode number 6 of Talk Wrestling.